The New York Rangers and Florida Panthers are set to square off in the Eastern Conference Final, with the Rangers hoping to capture a trip back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in a decade, while the Panthers are looking to take care of some unfinished business after last year's loss in the finals to the Vegas Golden Knights. Which team will advance is anybody's guess, but I have three predictions as to how this series will go, and the first one being a 10% chance that I think the New York Rangers will sweep the Florida Panthers and move on to the Stanley Cup. That's right, I have finally succumbed. The Rangers are inevitable, and I think they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they'll probably end up winning. This team was facing an absolute cruise missile flying in their faces in the Carolina Hurricanes as they roared back from 3-0 down in the series, and they still managed to come out with a Game 6 win. To me, that's just some Team of Destiny stuff. I don't think there's any chance that the Rangers are going to lose to the Florida Panthers, and honestly, with how quickly they started against the Carolina Hurricanes, it wouldn't shock me if they jump out to an early lead in this series, and then remember what happened in Carolina and just knuckle down and drag this out in 4 games and move on to the Stanley Cup Finals with no compunction. And then I move on to my 50% prediction, which is I think there's a 50% chance we see Anthony Stolarz in goal for Florida at some point in this series. And this is not a reflection on Bobrovsky. Playoff Bob has been incredible in these playoffs with a 2.6 goal saved above expected through 11 games, but the Rangers just have the propensity to score in bunches, and I think that could easily happen, especially in the games 1 or 2 against Florida. And that could see Florida Panthers head coach Paul Maurice go to Stolarz, who was very good in the regular season, just to provide his team a bit of a spark. I don't necessarily think that Bob is going to get benched at any point in this series, but it would not shock me if the Rangers score 3 or 4 goals in a period and Paul Maurice makes a change just to kind of stem the tide. And then my 90% prediction is I think there's a 90% chance that the New York Rangers will score a shorthanded goal in this series. They did it against Washington, they did it against Carolina. They have absolutely suffocated both of the power plays that they have faced, and Florida's power play in the playoffs has been good, but not exceptional. 22% effectiveness, and they've given up a shorthanded goal against. As I said before, the previous 2 series, the New York Rangers just live and die on special teams, be that the power play where they're the second best percentage in the playoffs, and shorthanded where they can turn errant passes and bad entries into chances going the other way. I think the Rangers are going to pot another one, and that and their dominance on the power play is what's going to lead them to beat the Florida Panthers in this series. My pick, Rangers in 5.